here. Madness. Let's go fantasy madness show.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Fantasy Madness podcast with me, your host, the Mad Chatter, Ryan MK. That is right. So, lots to discuss. Appreciate you joining. Thank you very much. If you don't already, follow me on the Twitters at RMK Madness. Check out all my content there. For those of you who do follow the pod, it's been a minute, right? I hope everyone has been well. But with the fantasy season over and really things being a little bit hectic around the Madhouse MK, there's, I just decided to take a little time away. And it's been a while since we did the pod, but I did post a video a little bit ago talking some football chatter, but also talking a little bit about my future plans. That is right. And basically, I just feel like I've been trying to cover too much. My fantasy teams took a hit this year. They really did. Oh my goodness. I did not play in one Super Bowl, one title matchup, one championship. No. That's not happened to me since my first year of playing fantasy. Now, I did have some bad luck in some leagues, but a lot of it was I just wasn't keeping up on it like I normally do. And with adding in my podcasting and the writing for Player Profiler, doing this podcast, doing my Miscellaneous Debris podcast, working on my stand-up comedy aspirations and my other writing aspirations as well. So trying to do all this while, being a family man, and it's taken a toll in some areas. So I had to, step back a little bit, reevaluate. And so from now on, I will be sticking strictly to Dynasty in my new endeavor, we'll put it that way, because that's my bag, right? This is what I'm best at. I enjoy daily fantasy, but I'm still getting my feet wet there, okay? And standard, just redraft leagues, I just I just can't get into them. Unless it's, of course, the Guillotine League. I do love those. But when it comes down to it, I'm a Dynasty kind of guy. And I just need to try and stick to Dynasty, not try to cover, the entirety of football and talk about every single game. I don't need to do. There's just, lots of shit I don't need to be doing. And I just feel like it needs to be a little bit better organized. And there's a few different things I want to try. So basically, this will be the finale of Fantasy Madness. That's right. Don't know why I went with the boxing bell there. Couldn't find my booze. I was going to use booze because that would make sense there. It's the last Fantasy Madness episode. Last pod of the Fantasy Madness.
You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, that's kind of good.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Oh, we know that one. I used to use the shit out of that one. But I've decided to go ahead and go a bit of a different direction. And I'm going to be dropping a brand new pod Super Bowl week. Yeah, so we're going to take a little time off again while I gather this. But basically, I'm going for a new look, new name, new setup to the pod, new format. I want to get some guests in here so it's not always me talking all the time. I may even find myself a co-host. I don't know. But I've got new things in the works and new things coming. So this will be the finale, again, of Fantasy Madness. And keep an eye out on the Twitters at RMK Madness and, Apple Podcasts or anywhere you find this one. It's, on Spotify, I believe, Pandora, maybe even. I know it's on Spotify. But Apple Podcast, wherever you find this, and of course there's my links, wherever you find this, you can find my new pod. So we'll get that going. We will get that going. So keep an eye out for that. But for now that I've kind of gotten that out the way, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of actual football chatter. So, per usual, the pod will come out on Tuesday, but I'm recording Monday night. And it's not too long ago that the college football championship finished up. Not a very interesting game, as in, bit of a blowout, but Devonta Smith, it's something. Just torching teams. It's crazy. Dude looks killed. Now, I'd like to see him add a few pounds. A little bit. Bulk up a little bit. But damn, dude. 215, 3 TDs. Look good. Till he got hurt. Couldn't finish the game. Looks like he might have broken his index finger. That's not good. The finger. You need them fingers. But he, most likely, obviously, be good to go for the combine, and hopefully he goes to the combine. That would be really, really nice. I'd like to see those measurables and whatnot, those workout metrics and stuff. So, but it's hard to complain about his college production. He's been a stud. Wins the Heisman, first receiver to do it in how long? I mean, gotta give this dude props. He's gonna be obviously on everybody's their radar. I was gonna say the top of their radar, but that makes no fucking sense. But everybody's gonna have their eyes on this dude. So, be interesting to see how it goes with the old draft process and everything that leads up to that. We'll get so excited for that. The new pod. See, and this is the thing. I'm going to be dropping my new pod just at the right time, because once the Super Bowl is over, there's a little bit of a downtime, but then we ramp up because free agency hits. And this is where I start to excel, dissecting the free agent moves. And then we move in to the combine, the NFL draft, and I start to put things together. Some of my big hits from last year, I talked a lot about James Robinson. Marquez Callaway, that was another dude. When it comes to the undrafted rooks, I got a keen sense for which one of these. And I'm not a big college person. Like, I got issues with college and just, you've heard me speak on it before, I'm sure. I've talked about it in my other podcast, Miscellaneous Debris, which you can also find anywhere you find this. I believe I already mentioned that, though. But these undrafted rooks, I seem to get a sense for them, despite not watching the college football. Because, of all the injustice there. And I'm sorry. If you heard that, my nose is whistling a little bit. Got a little bit of a cold. It's a little stuffy. A little congested. So there's a little bit of whistling in the nose, in the nasal area. I might have to get that checked out. Anyway. So. They don't have to pay him. I'm not saying pay the players. I mean, I'm sure they take that. But just let them make money off their own likeness. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. So I'm not someone who watches a ton of college football, but I'm really good at going through all these undrafted rookies, going through their profiles, looking at which ones are intriguing and saying, hey, this guy, because see, here's the thing. When you're looking in dynasty leagues and you're looking at the rooks that get drafted, especially in the top rounds, like draft capital is a real thing. It's not one of my favorite things, but it's a real thing because it's a real thing to coaches, because they have a hard time letting go of someone they've spent, coaches, GMs, etc. A team has a hard time just letting go of someone that they've spent a high pick on. But you gotta, when it comes to these undrafted rooks, they have to be talented in order to succeed because they've got a zero draft capital. And so I always dig in, find the most talented of the bunch, and then dissect their landing position? Where did they sign? What do the depth charts look like? I put a lot of effort into trying to nail which undrafted rookies can make some noise, because there's always a couple every year. And hey, I wrote an article last year, 5 undrafted rookies to keep your eyes on. 4 of the 5 made teams. I feel like there's another one I'm missing too. There's another one somewhere. I think I had more than 2. More than Callaway and Robinson. But point being, this is the time in fantasy football when I really excel. And because I love Dynasty football. And this is my favorite part of Dynasty, is bettering your roster in the off season. And I always find great ways to do that, whether it's through the draft, nailing those hidden gems, trades. This is all stuff I do very well in. So it's going to be a fun time coming up once we hit the end of the Super Bowl. But, it's a fun time till then because we got football. We still got football. So we're in the playoffs. And you got the playoff madness, right? That's a lot of fun games. I got a few thoughts from Super Wildcard Weekend. And that's, first of all, yay, Browns. Yay. Yeah, let's get another cheer. Since my stepping away from my fandom for the team I rooted for, the past few years, I really have, even before that I left the team, I really have kind of grown an attachment to the Browns. Now I could never probably have them as my fave team. I may never have a fave team again, but I really, really enjoy the shit out of them this year. And I was telling tons of people. I wish I would have said it more on Twitter. I've been a little lacking on Twitter lately, to be honest.
You suck, you jackass.
I know. I'm pretty good on the Twitter. I need to be on there more. I know. It's crazy. But what the hell was I talking about? The Browns. I was telling my brother and some other people that, hey, I think Cleveland's going to do this shit, because there's always an upset in Wild Card Weekend, and especially with 2 extra games, there had to be one. And you could consider the Rams beating the Seahawks an upset, but that didn't really feel like one. That was a coin flip to begin with. Some people even had the Rams. I wouldn't surprise at all. The Browns beating the Steelers, that's an upset. And a sweet one. And the way it started off, and I knew right away the Steelers were in fucking trouble, because you remember when that shit happened to the Broncos in the Super Bowl? I remember watching that shit. My mother, the Broncos fan. And she was just crushed. Just crushed. Because she knew they were in fucking trouble. And they were. And they got thumped. Bad. And that's really what happened to the Steelers. They could just never come back. They made a little bit of a comeback. But the Browns were able to put some more points on the board. I mean, they really... I'm very intrigued by the Kansas City-Cleveland matchup, to say the least. It was also nice to see Tyler Heinicke get out there and have some action. I remember when he was a member of the Vikings, he played very well, like, in his limited role, But whenever you saw him, he was, man, not bad. Dude plays hard. And he came out and he damn near helped Washington win that game. He went over 300 yards with a touchdown, 46 rushing yards and a touchdown. He did have an interception, but I mean, you can't ask for a whole lot more, given what he was asked to do in that situation. I mean, yeah. Praise to and props to the motherfucking rookie running backs, right? Cam Akers, in particular, going off for 131 yards and a touchdown, as well as a couple of catches for 46 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 78 yards and a touchdown. You had J.K. Dobbins, just a minor 43 yards, but a touchdown as well. And then Antonio Gibson, a little disappointing, but man, lots of rook running backs in the playoffs. making some noise. It's going to be, man, if the Rams can keep Akers going, hoo-wee, that could be a problem for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers next week, I'm just saying. Also, Russell Wilson, I don't know what the fuck happened to this offense halfway through the year. It's like their defense got better and their offense started to suck. But Russell Wilson needs help. Give him some offensive line help. He needs a fucking running back. Y'all keep trotting out Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde. Get the motherfucker a stud, please. Jesus. There's rumors Carson Wentz could go to Indy. But before we get into that, speaking of help, because I want to say this first. Pittsburgh, Seattle, Buffalo. All these motherfuckers need help at running back. Because the Bills, they got it done, right? But it wasn't the most impressive game. The Colts really kind of put it to them a little bit. So this Ravens-Bills game is going to be crazy in my opinion. But they got shit for a running game. They really, really need to draft a stud. And, with Buffalo, you get a stud running back in there, plus a little bit on the defense. They're going to be pretty fucking scary. They're already scary, but they're going to be even better. It's going to be a tough task against Baltimore this weekend. But all those teams, Pittsburgh, I already talked about Seattle. Pittsburgh, fucking James Conner, Benny Snell, get the fuck out of here. They got Anthony McFarland. He didn't seem to do a lot when he was there, but they didn't. I don't know. They need a stud. Because it feels like the running game is coming back. Better have a stud in there. Better have a stud. But then people will point out, lately, most teams that win the Super Bowl don't have some stud. Even though you could say, last year, fucking Damian Williams, Raheem Mostert, pretty studly in their playoff runs. But I digress. Back to the Wentz to Indy situation. Now, that would be interesting. Because there's no guarantee there's a Phillip Rivers return next year. There's a good chance he hangs it up. And, the Eagles now, Doug Peterson got fired. There's Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of shit going on with Philadelphia. Now, they say they'd like to patch things up with Carson Wentz, but it doesn't say. And maybe the firing of Doug Peterson helps, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that whole situation. But I'm hoping to see more of Jalen Hurts, and I'd like, I'm not big on Carson Wentz. I never was. But it's clear there's something going on with him in Philly. Now, you put him back with Frank Reich, or in Indianapolis, that might be something. It might be. But I'm definitely looking forward to round 2. The Buffalo-Baltimore game, I'm telling you. That's going to be crazy. Saturday night. Whew. And I love the Chiefs, but I want to see the fucking Brownies take another one. Let's get us a Browns-Bills AFC championship. Nothing against the Ravens. I love the Ravens. Love Lamar Jackson. Love J.K. Dobbins. But let's see an AFC championship featuring some new blood. Some teams that haven't been in this spot in fucking forever. That's what I'd like to see. Browns and Bills, AFC Championship. Excuse me. And then, of course, you got old man shootout. All the gifts of them with beards. I think it was from Tom Brady's account even. With the beards and the History Channel. Good times. And by the way, the whole Nickelodeon thing, anybody trashing that? First of all, it was made for kids. And I see lots of jokes about Bears fans compared to kids. But it was made for kids. But I thought it was cool shit, to be honest. I thought it was cool. Cool. So round 2. It's going to be some fun stuff. And then the championship games. Almost there. Almost to that Super Bowl and the off season.
May I please have your attention? The store will be closing in 5 minutes.
That is right. And speaking of off-season, I'm going to hit a bit of an off-season myself. As I mentioned, this is going to be the last Fantasy Madness pod. I'm going to come back, hit it harder. We're going to come back stronger. That's right. But before we go, as you know, did I just say harder and strong? Okay, sorry. I digress. As you know, I don't always stick to football around here, so real quick. You know, last week's Capitol attack is disturbing, okay? I mean, there's so much wrong with the whole situation, and I could get into it. And if you want to hear my full thoughts on this, please check out my last episode of my Miscellaneous Debris podcast. You can find that by checking out my content on Twitter. That's right, at RMK Madness. But there's so much wrong with, you know, how the BLM protests were treated by cops compared to this situation. The ways you noticed the whole back the blue thing went right the fuck out the window, right? When it wasn't having to deal with black people. I even saw a video of a dude at an airport getting arrested, and they've got him on the ground, and he's, "You're not supposed to treat me like this. This is how you treat black..." Or no, it was, "This is how you treat black people." What? See right there? And it's those kind of people that are like, "Oh, just follow the law and you won't get messed with. There's no racial injustice." And then you got one of them right there sitting there like, "Why the fuck are you pinning me to the ground? This is how you treat black people, not me. You see this fucking shit?" Okay, sorry. You got Trump, that whole situation. He's being dropped everywhere. Like foreign banks don't even want to do it. Like that whole situation where he applauded those people and then later on condemned them. But everything that happened that day, this is what you get. Unhinged. And Trump, what's scary is that Trump was able to do all this, and he's kind of a fucking idiot, right? Because if he would have played this a little bit better, he could have had so much of what he wanted. But a lot of dumb shit he did was so blatant and out there that we should all be very fucking relieved that this is not a super intelligent man. That he didn't know quite exactly how to manipulate everything, a la a Hitler or someone like that. So that's a little bit frightening, disheartening, because if someone comes along with that same mindset that is smarter, well, let's just hope Mr. Biden puts in some safeguards that will keep some of this shit from happening again. That would be my vote. And so that being said, and this goes from the end of this pod to the beginning of my new one, is that if you still roll with Trump after all this shit, fuck, if you even voted for him in 2020, fuck you. And fuck off forever and ever. And I'll take the losses on that with Twitter and everywhere else. Fuck. I don't talk to some family members now because of it, and I'm okay with that. Why? Because if you can't see what he's done to our country, that's because you're either down for what he's doing, which means you'd like to drop this country back to the Civil War era, fucking assholes, or you're just so fucking ignorant and blind, and in that case as well, fuck you. I ain't got time for either way. Either way. If Trump's your boy, peace out. And that's how we'll move on to the next pot as well. So hopefully there's a sense of normalcy on the way, but I do believe there's a very good chance that things could get worse before better. But I've also been saying that. So it's going to get better eventually, though. In some aspects, some things are better. So, get that negative shit out of here. Let's keep rolling, and hopefully 2021 begins to improve. And the 2021 football season, well, we'll see how that goes. Things should go a little bit smoother, I would think, than this past season. And sorry for the strange transition, but, I do try and stick more to sports here. I do like to get in there with some social commentary at times because, I like to talk. Mad chatter. I'm a little bit crazy. I got a lot of shit to say, okay? Especially when it comes to stuff like this. It's important to me. I got kids. I'm looking at the future of my country here, and I don't want racist, prejudiced people who are easily, manipulated, that believe in these wild-ass conspiracy theories and that don't give a shit about the planet or science or blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry. Fuck it, it's the last episode. I just go all out. Anyway, all of that said, everyone just be mindful, current events, but also we got to try and enjoy life, and that includes football and looking ahead to next season, and for now we have the rest of the playoffs, and like I said, round 2 should be a blast, and then we'll have the AFC, NFC championships, and then the Super Bowl. And hey, that's when I'll be coming around again. The Super Bowl week with the new pod, and while this is kind of goodbye and we're closing up the shop for the last time and whatnot, it's also just it's not goodbye forever. Goodbye for now. Not goodbye, but farewell. See you soon. Because come Super Bowl week, like the caterpillar, I will transform and become a beautiful butterfly. Or not me, per se, this show, this pod. It will, in one sense, be the same, but transform into something much more beautiful and great. That's the idea, anyway. That's the idea. We'll see if I can pull it off. You feel me? Are we good? We good? Okay. Super Bowl week. All right. Until then, I'm going to go enjoy a couple weeks, work on a few other things while I'm putting together the debut of the new pod. And until then, you can always check me out on Twitter, see what I got to say on there at RMK Madness. And that's what we got. So, until Super Bowl week, much love to you all. Stay safe. Stay vigilant, stay mad. Because as you know, and never forget, all the best of us are. That's right. So take care of yourselves, each and every one of you. Appreciate you for all you've done, joining, listening, etc. And once again, we'll chat again, perhaps in another dimension. No, I'm just kidding. New show. We'll chat on the new show. So, ta-ta for now. Talk again soon. Super Bowl week. Laters!
Welcome to the show.